up, metalheads? It's Underground Noise Webzine back once again with webisode number 146. This legend doesn't really need much of an introduction. He's the master of slam himself, Chris Pervelis.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, bro?
Well, doing okay. It's 5 o'clock in New York. It's cocktail time. Having a little bourbon, a little cigar. My kids are behind me playing poker. So life's good.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, if I was there, I'd join you for a shot of bourbon or two.
What?
So if I was there with you, I would join you for a
Oh
shot of
yeah,
bourbon.
yeah. I'm drinking a Knob Creek 12-year-old. It's quite delicious.
Oh, wow. I haven't
Mhm.
tried that one.
It's really good. Really flavorful. It's got a nice punch to it. Yeah, it's good.
Speaking of cigars, what kind of cigars do you like the best?
I tend to like very strong and very spicy cigars. So things like the Fuente Opus X, Diesel Unlimited Maduro, um, Partagas Black Label, things like that. Cigars like that have a lot of black pepper flavor to them and a lot of spiciness to them. So that's kind of what the flavor profile I like. Like I like spicy food, so I like my cigars spicy. I like my whiskey spicy. I like my women spicy, as my wife would say. So
Hello, Mrs. Pervelis.
yeah, you could say hello. She's gonna come over here and say hello now.
Oh, that's cool.
She wants to be a star too.
Hello.
It's my wife.
Hey,
Hi. Good to
how's
see
it
you.
going?
Good. Cheers.
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 Have
See ya.
fun.
Okay. She always pops into interviews. I like it.
Hey, that's fine. More than welcome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I figured I'd ask you about cigars because I've been smoking the Swisher Sweet BLK Smooths.
I don't know them.
Yeah, it's like a regular Swisher Sweet, but it's got a plastic tip, and plus it's pipe tobacco instead of regular cigar tobacco.
Oh, all right. So it's got a nice, yeah, pipe tobacco smells great. So
Yeah, the smooth ones are the tastiest, in my
yeah.
opinion.
What do
'Cause
they taste like? What do they taste like?
um
Sweet, right? I mean, it's got a sweet
sweet,
like
sweet and kind of strong at the same
okay.
time. So it's kind of hard to describe. You'd have to try it yourself. They're like two for $1.29.
Yeah, I've never had Swisher Sweets, but I've had like Tiparillos and things like that. Not necessarily what I like, but sometimes I do like what are those called? Those backwoods. You ever have them?
Oh yeah, with
Yeah.
that tobacco wrap
Yeah, yeah,
around.
yeah. Those are fun. Those are fun. I think those have pipe tobacco in them too. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I remember trying the honeyberry flavor.
Yeah, I like straight tobacco flavor. I'm not a flavored tobacco kind of guy.
Yeah, some people like wine, some people like grape, and I'm like, how do you like grape?
Yeah,
Gives me a
seriously.
migraine headache.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like a migraine headache. Yeah.
It really does.
Totally, man.
I'd like to dive a little bit into the new album, Settle All Scores. What can you tell me about it?
We start. Okay, what can I tell you about it? All right. So we start recording the first weekend in April. Finally, the studio time is booked. So I'm super excited about that. So I guess April and May, we're going to be recording it and finishing it up. And then, so I guess the fall of 2024, it'll be out. We'll probably hand the album in sometime in June. So August, September. Yeah, probably September, October, the album will come out. I hope. It's called Settle All Scores because I've got a lot of scores to settle with a lot of people and businesses in this music industry. I've been doing this for 30 years, at least longer than 30 years, and I've been me and as well as the band have been, fucked over and screwed and lied to and cheated and, everything. So this is kind of my cathartic way to get back at everybody that I perceive to have done me wrong. So it feels good to do, like, I'm writing the lyrics along with me. Chris McCarthy's helping me. We're writing the lyrics together, and it's coming together. Thematically, it's coming together pretty good. So like, I think the lyrics are going to be consistent as far as the theme is concerned. So I'm very excited to put it out. Musically speaking, it's musically speaking, it's internal bleeding. You'll know it's internal bleeding, but it's maybe it's a bit more it's a bit more aggressive than the last album, I think. It's definitely it's probably groovier than the last album, although the grooves aren't what maybe you wouldn't expect. So how do I it's a really modern, clean, not clean's not the word, it's a really modern, very, very competitive sound, and very, very groovy, and people are going to be throwing things around left and right when they listen to it, So I'm pretty excited about it. It's varied. It's got a lot of nods to old school IB. It's got a lot of new stuff. It's a dynamic album. So I'm pretty excited to get it out and get it done. When Chris and I started writing this album, we had like 4 songs done, and him and I threw them all away and started over. Because we were so focused on making this like something special. So I'm glad we threw out those 4 songs, and we saved a couple of parts from them, but that's it. And we started all over again, and we put together 8 pretty killer songs. So I'm pretty happy.
That's excellent too. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm like, everybody I've played like the pre-production stuff to thinks it's pretty fucking killer.
Awesome.
I would play some of it for you, but I don't know if you could hear it. Let me see. Hang on a second. I doubt, maybe you'll hear it, maybe you won't. Let's see. Can you hear that? Or no? No. All right. Sorry. I tried to let you in on a little live, but it just didn't work. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
That stinks. Anyway, so whatever. Like I said, I'm pretty excited about it. So
That's definitely awesome.
yeah. And we've been sitting around. So April, we've got the Decibel Metal and Beer Fest. And then in May, we've got a small run of shows that we'll probably announce next week. I can't mention them now, but that'll culminate at Milwaukee Metal Fest. So that's fun. And then in the fall, we've got some really crazy shit going on. I can't talk about it yet though. So I don't want to jinx myself, but it's all coming together. So
that sounds really cool.
Yeah. Very excited about it. I'm excited about it because, we're all of us in the band are getting older. Finding time off for shows is hard, and this and that, but the schedule's all coming together, and, we're making it work, and it's pretty exciting.
What bands are you currently listening to, say that are pretty much new to the death metal scene?
Let's see. I love Vomit Forth. Mutilatred, I love.
I mean, to be fair.
Year of the Knife is a really great band. I think those are the 3 I've been listening to lately. I just finished writing this album, so I haven't been listening to anything for the past year or so, due to the fact that I was writing stuff. So those 3 bands, those are what I've been listening to the past couple of weeks, now that I can listen to other music. Like, I can't listen to death metal when I'm writing an album, or else I'll steal somebody's riff or something like that. And I don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's been known to happen before.
Mhm. Yeah. So when I get into writing mode, like I'll still listen to my classic heavy metal, like Black Sabbath and stuff like that, but I won't listen to any death metal whatsoever or any extreme music because I don't want it seeping into what I'm doing. So it's kind of like going through the desert, you know, because it can't satisfy I don't satisfy my extreme music itch when I'm writing an album. So it's been a while too. I'm glad that everything's done and I can finally settle in and start listening to, extreme music again and get back into, because I missed a lot. I've been writing for like 2 years. So
Yeah, with what I've been working on, it's been going on 10 years this year. So,
well, hopefully you get it, you'll get it done.
yep, as soon as
But
possible.
yeah, you got to just keep working on it, brother. That's all.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like how Peter from Blood Soaked put it. Just put it together, do it. Who cares if it's not really perfect? Just get it out there
Yeah.
and fix it up later.
Peter's the man. He's awesome.
Yeah, just talked with him not so long ago.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love him. Great guy.
Absolutely. Let me ask you, Chris, are you inspired by horror movies?
Musically, no.
What would
Uh,
you say, like,
I like horror movies, but is that part of my repertoire as far as being influenced by? Maybe when I first started and I was in my mid-20s, um, I was more influenced by horror movies. Lyrically, writing lyrics were more horror movie themed, kind of, but they don't inspire me as far as music. But I love horror movies, so you know, but I like, I think the latest the last horror movie that I thought was any decent at all was probably the first Saw. That's like the last horror movie I saw that I thought was at least somewhat clever and decent, and it wasn't like just miles of gore for no reason, which I like. Don't get me wrong, but I like to have the thrills, and I like to have the feeling of doom and horror. You know what I'm saying? Like the
mhm,
atmosphere. That's what I want. I don't want the gore and the. I mean, I don't mind it. Don't get me wrong, but I want to. It's hard to scare me, but I like to at least watch something and go, that's a pretty fucking scary scene. That's cool. That's what I'm into. I always say one of my favorite horror movies is the first Alien. And if you watch, there's one scene in that movie where you watch Dallas, who's the head of the ship. He's in the air tunnel. He's in the air shafts, and they have this primitive radar, and they're tracking the alien, and he's in the air shaft, and the music, and it's just absolutely brilliant horror movie scene. There's no blood, there's nothing. It's all atmosphere, and it's just all just tension that will just break you. And that's what I love in a horror movie is that tension that just infects every bone of your body and gets under your skin, and you're like, oh, something bad's gonna happen, and it just keeps getting worse, and you're just praying that the person gets killed so they can release the tension.
absolutely.
That's what I love. And then, that's kind of like internal bleeding. We believe in our music is to build up tension and have release and stuff like that. So I guess they kind of tie in a little bit when you think about it, but you know, so that's my thing about horror movies.
What would you say is the best horror movie of all time?
Oh boy. Can I give you a tie?
Sure.
First Halloween and the first Alien.
Okay, the first Halloween. That's a classic.
It's absolutely, it's everything I just described. It's all atmosphere and it's all tension and it's fantastic. It's just absolutely fantastic movie. There's barely any blood in that movie.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know, there's almost none. And it's all just, and what's even brilliant is they had no money to make this movie, but they made it and they did it so well with the direction and the way the scenes were, and just, it's a genuinely frightening movie. So you know who Roger Ebert was, from Siskel and Ebert, the reviewer.
Yeah. Siskel and Ebert.
Right. So I enjoy reading Roger Ebert's movie reviews because he always seemed like a regular guy. He wasn't like a pretentious Hollywood snob. He would never as a reviewer, he would never talk down to his audience or anything like that. I always thought he was a regular guy. So I always loved his movie reviews because a lot of movies that a lot of reviewers don't like, he likes. Anyway, his review of Halloween is awesome, and it says it's a genuinely terrifying movie, and he explains why it's genuinely terrifying, and I agree with it, and that's the same with the first Alien. It's a genuinely terrifying movie. It's incredibly clever and smart, and I don't think they make movies like that anymore. And I think society has changed also. I think people my age have more patience to allow things to build up. I don't think younger people have that patience. And so they don't feel that tension, so I understand that the world's changed, but from my perspective, I like that slow burn and the tension and all that crap. I just love it. So
Speaking of stuff like they don't make it like they used to, I was going to say that they don't make vehicles like they used to either.
oh no, of course.
I know you like your old.
Yeah, me. Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I'll have to send you a picture of a Nova that I took a picture of at one.
Oh, cool. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, there's a lot of benefits in new cars. I mean, they get better gas mileage, they're safer. You know, many of them are much faster than like a muscle car, but they don't look anything like it. They don't have the design, they don't have the aura that is around the muscle car. The design was so much better back then because designers were freer to let their imagination run wild. Whereas now, I was reading a really interesting book by Bob Lutz, who was the head of GM for a while. And he would explain what it was like to design a new car. And you don't start with a blank piece of paper. You start with regulations, government regulations, safety regulations, all kinds of regulations, wind tunnel regulations. Then you can start trying to design something. Whereas earlier on, it was a designer and his imagination and the constraints of budget and platform and all that stuff. And now it's a list that's 1,000 miles long of limitations, which is sad. The imagination's being stifled, which I guess is kind of sad, but whatever. There's still some nice cars out today, but I think they all look to me, they all look the same. They're all designed in a wind tunnel. They're all designed for maximum gas mileage. They're all cut from the same template. The only thing that changes is the grill or maybe the tail lights.
What's your favorite car?
Ever?
Could always do a top 5 if you want.
All right, top 5. Thank you. You trying to get me to favorite top 5. 1970 Hemi Cuda. Number 2 would be a 1970 Dodge Super B. Number 3 would be a 1970 Buick Grand Sport. Number 4 would be a everything's 1970, but number 4 would be a 1969 and a half Plymouth Roadrunner. And number 5 would be a 1971 Plymouth Roadrunner. That's my top 5.
Perfect.
I know it's mostly Plymouth and Dodge, but that's what I'm partial to, so.
Yeah, that's okay. I like Dodge Darts myself, and I also like the Chevy 57 Chevy.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful. Dodge Darts are awesome. Yeah, 57 Bel Air is just the pinnacle of beautiful design for sure.
Especially with the bucket seats.
Absolutely. And a stick shift. Yeah. Beautiful.
You can't beat it.
Nope, you can't. It's absolutely gorgeous.
I can't drive stick, but I can drive automatic.
Oh, you can drive stick. It takes 10 minutes to learn.
Well, maybe you could teach me someday, sir.
Yeah, I will, because you have to. If you love cars, you have to be able to drive a stick. You just have
Okay.
to. It's so much fun.
I'm gonna hold you to it, Chris.
Sounds good, man. Sounds good. It's fine with me. You can hold me to it.
Cool, because if I have to learn how to drive stick, I might as well learn from you.
Yeah. There you go. That's fun.
Oh, fucking A, man.
All right. So what else?
Well, let's see. Is there anywhere in the world you haven't toured that you've always wanted to check out? Say like Japan, or maybe say Antarctica.
Japan I've been to. China. I'd like to play a couple of shows in China, and that might happen. Remember, I said there's stuff coming in the fall that might be really cool. And so, like, if this fall thing goes through, it's going to be like 3 bucket list shows for sure. You know,
wow.
well, yeah, one of them is in China, and the 2 others I'm not going to mention, but that would be bucket list. And I could probably could probably do that and say I could retire happy, that I've been everywhere I wanted to be.
Well, have you ever thought about doing a show over in Antarctica? I wonder if there's any death metal bands in that continent.
I don't think so. I think all that exists in Antarctica is like a Russian weather station and an American weather station. I think that's all there is.
Yeah, I just don't know any.
Fuck it, I'll play it.
I mean, could you just imagine how it would be out there? You'd just be like, you know, it'd be frigid as ever.
Oh my God. I fucking hate the cold, so it wouldn't go over well with me, but
Yeah, I
hey,
mean,
I'm game to go. I'm game to go and play anywhere.
Last time you guys had storage, you were trying.
That's what makes it, that's what one of the great things about this, I mean, this isn't even like, I'm not talking, like, it's amazing to me. How do I explain this? It's amazing to me that a band of my size, which, okay, in our community, it's a fairly decently sized band. But in the grand scheme of things of music, we are nobody. And I get to go to all these places. And I don't have to pay to go to all these places. People pay me to go to all these places. Like, it's
I found a sword and a spine.
it's just dude, it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing to me. Still, after all these years, it's mind blowing. I'll set my foot, get off an airplane. I'll set my foot in a different country and I'll be like, I can't believe this is happening to me.
Oh God, whose show is this?
You know?
hmm.
It's an amazing thing. It's just an amazing thing. I remember when my parents were alive, my mother was, may she rest in peace. My mother was so like blown away by the fact that I could go all over the world. She's just blown away by it. She was completely blown away by it. She's like, couldn't believe it. She thought it was the greatest thing in the world. It's awesome. So
That is awesome. It's good.
yeah, I'm very lucky.
I was going to ask you, what was it like your first international show? You remember?
Yep, I sure do. First international show was the Mountains of Death Festival in Switzerland in, I'm gonna say it's 2011. And it was the greatest. And that show was awesome because that was in the mountains of Switzerland. It was a beautiful weekend. The weather was great. You know, it was an outdoor show. Met so many cool people and got treated like royalty. It was just great. It's just unbelievable. And I'm glad Billy, my drummer, was able to do it. You know, I mean, that was a big deal for both him and I, because we've been in the band since the early 90s together, and we finally made it over to Europe, and it was just like the biggest thrill. You know?
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, man, it's mind blowing. Like I said, bro, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, I still have yet to check out Europe sometime.
Yeah, Europe's beautiful. Europe's absolutely beautiful. The people are great. Everything's awesome. It's a totally different world than what we're used to in America, but that's okay, first of all. And second of all, it's an adventure. And 90% of the people you meet are great. So
When you're not doing a show, what do you like to do on your days off? Do you like to go sightseeing?
with us, the biggest thing with us is food. So if we have a day off, and day offs are bad because you're not making money. But if we have a day off, it's usually where are we going for breakfast, where are we going for lunch, where are we going for dinner, and we walk around whatever city we in. We'll just walk around endlessly and try to find the right place to eat. You know, and a lot of times when we do that, we surprise ourselves and find like a place that has, like, for example, in the Czech Republic, we had most of the day off. I'll never forget this. We had a show and we arrived really early in Prague. So we had all day to walk around, and we were like, we need to find like the ideal place for a late lunch / early dinner. And we found this place. I don't remember the name of it. And the waiter scared us. He was so gruff and like, "Brr." But he was awesome. He's like, you know, and we sat down and I had this sausage plate. So it had like 4 different kinds of sausages with like 5 different kinds of mustards. I had that, and I had a rib plate, which were like spare ribs, but they were chopped. So they were like bite size. It was the most amazing thing I ever ate in my life. Like the sausages, every sausage was different, tasted great. All the mustards were like all fresh. Everything was fresh. The ribs were like, not like American ribs. I can't explain how they were marinated or whatever, but it's just absolutely delicious. And it's like, I'll never have that again unless I go to that place, you know? And so that when we're on a day off, those are the experiences we're looking for, is the food. Of course, sightseeing, if there's something really cool to see, we'll go see it. But really it's about the food.
Food is always good.
Even in America. I mean, even in America, we're about the food. We land, you know, we end up somewhere. It's like, where's the best taco truck? Where's the best, you know? So and it's cool because all of us in the band are foodies. We're all into food. So if one person says, let's go try to find let's go try to find the best burrito stand in this town, all of us will be like, yes, let's go. So that's kind of how we spend our downtime, is looking for food, like good, interesting food.
You're gonna have to get out the snap-on sombrero.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
You remember when I mentioned that to you?
Mhm.
I was like snap-on sombrero.
Yeah, man, best. Oh man. Well, I was just in Mexico. We just played the Mexico Metal Fest in November. I don't know, November. And we found, talking about food, we found an all-night taco place. Literally all night. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Oh my God, it was fantastic.
Did they have soft tacos?
Yep.
Oh, dude, make me crave soft tacos.
Oh yeah. And just with the salsa that they had was so good. Oh, forget it.
Yeah, you're killing me over here.
I
But that's all good. I can
know
always,
I'm starving, man. You were talking about all this. I'm starving. My kids ordered pizza. I'm gonna eat half their pizza.
yeah, this is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I had pizza a few nights ago, actually. Papa John's.
Oh.
They're pretty good.
Yeah. You're not from New York, so you don't understand.
No, I am. I grew up around Binghamton.
It's not New York.
It's not New York City. I know that much. It's upstate New York, you
It's
know.
upstate New York. Yeah. Our drummer lives upstate New York. I've had the pizza up there. It's nothing to write home about.
And
I'm spoiled, you know, I'm from the New York City area.
yeah, Brooklyn.
You know, where I live on Long Island, you can walk 50 feet in either direction and there's a pizza parlor, you know, and the pizza's just I'm so spoiled. We have such good pizza on Long Island. I just like, I can't tell you how spoiled we are with that.
Well,
You know, so, but like, my oldest son ordered Domino's the other night and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? With all this great pizza around, you know, and his friends are over tonight and they ordered like real pizza, good pizza from a place down the street. They make fantastic pizza. It's to die for.
well, if you could throw me a slice through the screen,
If I could put it
I'd
through the screen, I would, man.
yeah, I'd be like, yo, let's try this again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I could put it through the screen, brother, I would. Trust me. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff for sure.
I don't know if 3D printing actually makes real food.
Oh God, can you imagine?
That'd be amazing.
I would. I would. Oh my God, I would love that.
Just have your own steak, your own baked potato.
Well, you know, so okay, so um speaking about the own stake. So, you know, I'm a web developer. That's what I do. I develop websites. I have a guy, one of my clients, he's in the ingredient business. And we had a discussion the other day about manufactured steak. You're talking about that, but they're talking about manufactured artificial steak, which they're really working on developing.
Oh wow.
And so I asked him about it, you know, because he knows everything about things like hot sauce and ingredients. That's his business. And he says it's fucking awful. You know, he just says it's awful. It's artificial and it's awful, and you can tell. You know, he's like, maybe in 30 years you'll never be able to tell, but he's like, right now, he's like, it's just awful. You know, and a lot of people think it's awful because, the Boca burgers and all that stuff. Everybody thought that was going to take off. It never did.
Kind of like Morning Star.
Yeah, right. It never took off because it does not taste like meat. The only people who think it tastes like meat is vegetarians. And I'm like, I say to a vegetarian, how do you know what meat tastes like? Because you don't eat meat. I'm like, you know, I have no problem with a vegetarian, but don't tell me a fucking Boca burger tastes like, you know, good sirloin or something like that. It doesn't, it never will.
You know, that's kind of funny you mentioned that, Chris, because I remember hearing a joke a long time ago. What do you call a vegetarian with diarrhea?
What?
Salad shooter,
Oh God, that's terrible.
ain't it?
Mhm.
Extremely terrible.
That's awful.
Okay, Chris, I'd like to ask you, have you ever met any of your fans that might have an internal bleeding tattoo? And if so, what one stood out to be your favorite?
I met a lot of fans with IB tattoos. What one is my favorite? I think my favorite one is, and it's not for any reason, and not for any artistic reason. My favorite one is our first US tour in 1996. Some girl had our we call it our tribal symbol, which is like this four-pronged thing with two alien heads in it. That was drawn by Sean Carr. She had that like on her whole back, and like I couldn't believe it when I saw that. It blew my mind. I'm like, why would somebody do that? You know?
Well,
Well, that was definitely the coolest. I mean, I've seen a lot of people with IB tattoos, and I think that's great. I love it. I'm eternally thankful for it, but it's the first one that I saw that really sticks in my mind because that just blew my mind.
yeah, it looks like she took out the time to say, I love the band this much that I'm gonna
Yeah,
get.
yeah, 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 exactly. It was Oklahoma City. I'll never forget it. Crazy.
1996, you said, right?
Yeah, yeah, January of 1996.
Wow, I was only 17 at the time.
I was 20 something, mid 20s.
Yeah, time just flies by anymore.
Yeah, dude, it really does. And as you get older, time goes by even faster.
I
So,
mean, for you, what came first, weightlifting or music?
oh, music's always been since I was 4 years old.
Because I know you
Music.
like to work out a lot.
Yeah, but I don't really lift weights as much anymore because I'm older, and lifting heavy weights isn't good for your joints and stuff like that as you get older. So I'm not heavy on the weights like I used to be, but yeah, but music, like I said, like I discovered Black Sabbath at 4 years old, and I always say they ruined my life. If I never discovered it, I wouldn't be in this pickle of being in some kind of underground band.
I read somewhere just recently that you said that you're playing a band that plays dumb riffs.
Yep. Oh, you saw that thing in Decibel magazine, right?
Yeah, I'm like, come on, Chris, don't call it dumb.
It is dumb compared
Why?
to well, compared to what a lot of people are playing as far as complexity is concerned. Our riffs are dumb and stupid, but I'll take dumb and stupid over. You know, I'm not a big fan of. I like technical music. Like I'll listen to a lot of fusion jazz, which is very technical, but I don't want to hear it really in my death metal because it's kind of boring and goes nowhere. And there's no payoff. I want payoff. I want something. I want a riff that's going to make you want to hurt somebody. It's death metal. It's supposed to be violent and brutal and angry and unrelenting and stuff like that. And I don't know. For me, watching people do scale exercises on the guitar doesn't constitute music to me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no payoff.
Yeah, with me, I just use, bar chords and power chords, what
Yeah.
you can come up with. I'm lucky if I can come up with something that actually sounds good every now and again. But hey, if it sounds good to me, I know it's going to sound good to somebody else
Yeah.
eventually.
Sometimes creating something simple is a lot harder than creating something complex.
Yeah, and that's how it
Because
should be.
because if you create something simple, it better be good. You know what I'm saying? It better stick in a listener's head or whatever. So people might slag or poo-poo what we do, but I defy you to write as many catchy riffs as I've written in 30 years. There's something to be said for that.
Absolutely. This next one might be a tough one for you, Chris, but what would you say are your top 10 New York death metal bands?
Oh my God, top 10? All right.
It can be in random order.
All right, random order. Good. That makes it better for me. Immolation, Mortician. I still consider Cannibal Corpse a New York band. Okay. I still
Yep.
consider Malevolent Creation a New York band. All right. So what is that? That's 4, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Pyrexia. That's 5. Afterbirth is 6. Malignancy is 7. Morpheus Descends is 8. Remember, this is in an order.
right.
9 would be Necrosis. I don't know. Nobody remembers them, but they were a great band.
I heard the name before.
Okay, so they were a great band from New York. I really, really liked them. And then, oh God, if I was gonna pick the 10th band, Skinless.
Skinless is amazing.
Yeah, I mean they're not number 10. They're up higher. But you asked me to my just top 10 order doesn't matter. So
Right.
there's my top 10.
Hey, that's cool though.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't listened to Skinless in years.
Oh, I love Skinless. Great band.
Yeah, I remember.
Share with their vocalist, a good friend of mine, and it's great. He lives in Colorado now, and every time we play in Colorado, he always takes the time to come hang out, buys me cigars. We go to a whiskey bar together. It's really nice.
That sounds like a lot of fun though.
Yeah. It's fun, and he's a great guy. I have a lot of love for him. So.
That's great, dude. That's how I feel about my buddy in Colorado. Speaking of Colorado,
Yeah, a lot of good people in Colorado.
some of them just need to learn how to drive a little bit better.
Listen, I'm from New York. Everybody doesn't know how to drive.
Ain't that the truth? I mean, y'all got that bumper to bumper traffic up there, bro.
Yeah, we drive on the shoulder, we drive in between the lanes, we
You
do
drive
whatever
on-
we can.
Plus, you drive on the sidewalk if you have to.
If you have to, whatever it takes to get to your destination. Yeah, for sure.
Pretty funny. Hey, what's he got over there? He's got a go-kart today.
That's right. We'll do anything to get anywhere.
Shit, remember those days? Go-karts, man. Those things were the best.
We actually have within walking distance from my house, we have a go-kart track.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We took the kids this summer. Did a little racing around the track. It's fun, they put regulators on it, so you can't go really crazy, but still, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings out the kid in you a little bit, you know?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with bringing out the kid in you. That's what this music does to me.
That's exactly what it's there for, you know, bringing out this energy. That's
Oh
almost
my God, you know what, man? When I get on stage, I do not feel like I'm in my mid-50s. I feel like I'm 20 years old again. And it's I swear it's like I look at a lot of people I know that are my age, okay, 55, 56, and they are a mess. They're broken people. Everything is like they're incredibly overweight. They're every bone hurts and this and that. Listen, I've got my aches and pains. I've got a lot of them, but I look at myself and I compare myself to them, and beside a fairly decent diet that I follow, it's the music that keeps me young, and good genes. I mean, my parents had good genes. I mean, But it's that music. It just keeps you young. It just does. I don't know. I can't explain it. You know, I get on stage and all my knee pain, my wrist pain, all the arthritis that I've got going on in every joint and all that dissipates, just melts away. Just melts away. You know, it's great. It's such an incredible thing. And I hope a lot of people who are into this music carry it out as long as I did, because I think there's a lot of positive physical benefits to it. You know, as far as aging is concerned.
Yeah, most definitely, man. It's good to stay young.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you can, you know. As
Yep.
long as you can. So, um I'm managing. I don't know how, but I'm managing.
That's right, boys and girls. Say no to drugs.
Well, that's a whole nother story, but yes.
I mean, well, there's a few of people out there, that tend to think, oh, I'm going to party hardy while I'm in my 20s and do it till I'm in my 40s. Well, look at where you're at now.
Yeah, it's a one-way street, man. It's not, it's not sustainable.
Nope. A lot of
Nope.
people are real sluggish these days.
Yeah, totally. And I'm slowing down. I admit that I'm slowing down. I don't have the energy I used to have, but um when it comes to my business, when it comes to, a lot of other stuff, I still somehow can pull out the energy. It just takes me a lot longer to recover. You know, if we go on a tour, if we go on a tour and I come home, I'm in bad shape for like 2 weeks. You know, my bandmates who are a lot younger than me bounce back a lot faster.
Speaking of doing shows and signing autographs and stuff like that, what's the weirdest thing you've ever signed?
I don't think I've ever signed anything weird. You know, I've signed breasts, I've signed, vaginas and asses and things like that, but that's not weird. I think that's just kind of how it is. I never had to sign anything weird.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I had to sign somebody's face once. I guess that's kind of weird.
I can only imagine what that was like.
Uh, it was some girl, she wanted an autograph, and I'm like, okay, you got a piece of paper? She's like, oh no, just sign my cheek. I'm like, all right. So I signed her cheek. That was a little bizarre. I made sure I did it with a permanent marker so it would last at least through a couple of showers before it disappeared. So I guess I guess that would be the weirdest thing, because I was like, why would somebody want me to sign their cheek? She could have just gotten a piece of paper and then had it forever, but whatever. She's probably drinking or whatever. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true. What are your future plans, Chris?
Well, put out this album, do some tours, hopefully put out another album after that. We'll see. You know, by the time the next album comes around, I'll be pushing somewhere in the 60s. So I don't know. I can't say what I'm gonna do, but that's what I want to do.
Hey, live up while you still got it, bro.
Yeah. You know, if I find out that I can't write good riffs anymore, I'll stop. You know, I'm not gonna pump something out that's not good. So, um, you take it one day at a time, you know?
I'm rooting for you. Always have been.
Thank you.
First
I,
year,
appre-
you guys.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's what lifelong fans will do. They'll show their support all the time.
Yeah. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. I mean, it really does mean a lot. Um, I get a lot of very positive comments from fans, and that stuff keeps me going, you know?
Yeah, there's something about internal bleeding that just keeps on giving me that drive to keep doing better. You know what I mean?
Right, that's all. That's awesome, man.
That, that's her.
I hope that people look at our span or our career and what we've gone through. And I hope people take some kind of positive uh influence out of it. I hope some people realize that, you know, you can get knocked down a lot and you can get punched and beaten a lot, but you can always get up off the mat and keep going forward and not get knocked down. And you only exit the ring when you decide it's your time to exit the ring. You don't let other people determine when it's your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope that if anything, if we've inspired or influenced anybody, I hope it's that. It's the motivation, the drive, the never giving up in the face of letdown and abuse and all kinds of bullshit, you know?
I'd like to bring up a little bit about musical gear real quick, Chris.
Okay.
I know you got a new guitar just
Mhm.
recently, which is beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. At first, I thought it may have been a box of cigars or a box of sombreros.
No, that was my Dean Zero. I'm endorsed by Dean, and thankfully the company is very supportive of internal bleeding. And you know, they gave me a bunch of guitars to try out and play, and I found two that I love. So now I have the Zero and I have another one that'll be my backup. And it's great. And I'm proud to represent them when I get on stage, you know?
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking cool, man. I can't complain.
Now, I remember the first time I interviewed you, I was wearing my profanity t-shirt. Today, it's all life ends.
Yeah, there you go.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah. Hmm.
Not sure if you ever
Right.
listened.
You were wearing a profanity t-shirt. You know, we just toured with them last summer.
I bet that was a lot of excitement.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. Those guys are great. Thomas and all those guys, it's such nice people. We had such a good time.
Yeah, I've never talked with Thomas too often, but I talk with Lucas.
Okay, sure.
You know, Dar.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Great band, really good guys. And we had a lot of fun with them. We did like 7 dates with them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because Dar's got another project that's called Distaste, which is
This
kind of
tape,
like
yes,
Blind
right.
Board. That band is sick.
Yeah, they're a good band.
I mean, both albums sound totally different from each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
It's
wow,
amazing. It's amazing how much good music is out there.
absolutely. I always look at it like this. If you take your time with something, of course it's gonna sound good.
Mhm. Yeah, that's it, man.
Hmm.
You're right. You gotta take your time, man. You gotta make sure the music that you're putting out is what you want to put out, and nobody else is pressuring you to do something that you don't like or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason I'm coughing is because seasonal allergies, you know. It's like an
Yeah,
early spring.
they're starting to hit up here. I just started taking allergy medicine like 4 days ago because I've been waking up and sneezing and coughing and my face all stuffy. So yeah, well, spring's coming. So
Yeah, I don't want to see him inflate like a hot air balloon or look like Drop Dead Fred when he got flattened. You
yeah,
remember,
man.
you remember that movie?
Yeah, sure I do.
Man, that was one of the craziest classics in the world.
Yeah,
Rick
it was
My Doll.
pretty fucking pretty fucking funny, man.
Yep, that Phoebe Cates.
What?
That Phoebe Cates.
Oh yeah, well, who doesn't remember Phoebe Cates?
Well, those that weren't around back then, I guess.
That was like that was like the ultimate scene.
Yeah, his face is all flat and he just goes back to normal.
Yeah. Good stuff, man.
Absolutely, especially the mud pie scene too.
Oh yeah. Shit was funny.
Totally.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, is there anybody you would like to give a shout out to today?
Uh, usually, well, thanks to you, man. I appreciate you spending time with me. I enjoyed that. And thanks to all our fans who've stuck with us for Jesus Christ for a long time. And new fans too, man. Thanks. Welcome aboard and see you out on the road.
And also, before I forget, this was another question that came to my mind. I know a lot of bands like to imitate you guys. Could you kind of elaborate as to some of the bands that you might want to mention that try to do what you're doing, but they're not really doing it right?
I don't wanna listen, there's 1,000 bands that are trying to be internal bleeding, and none of them can be. And I'm not gonna mention any bands because that's just bad taste.
Yeah, we can't do that.
That's not classy. You know, there's a lot of bands that come close, but there's none that can be internal bleeding. There never will be a band that sounds like internal bleeding or does what we do because they don't understand. There's bands that come really close, but they just don't understand. It's an innate thing. They don't understand what we understand, you know? And so they're never going to sound like it. They're always going to sound like they're almost there, but they're not there. And then it's just a clone. So but I'm not gonna, I would never, I don't talk crap about other bands. It's just
Yeah,
not classy and it's not cool.
yeah, I don't blame you. I'm pretty much the same way, although I'll just keep those things in my head these days because
Right. And listen, in my small circle of band members, we talk a lot of shit, you know, but we never, it's just not cool. You know what I'm saying? It's just not cool. You know, and I think a lot of, you know, I don't care so much that people were inspired by us or whatever, and they're trying to whatever imitate it or they're trying to, you know, it's very honoring in a way, you know, but it's just I think it falls short because I don't know, it's not me. It's not me who's writing the, you know, it's not me who's writing the riffs. I think I write riffs that are fairly unique in what we do. And the way Internal Bleeding arranges songs, we arrange songs in a way that nobody else arranges songs, you know, so that's a differentiating factor. And whether that's a talent or whether that's just luck, I don't know, but you know.
that's cool though. I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
But it's inspiring to see. It's inspiring to you know, I get tons of bands and stuff that send me in material and say, you know, we're so inspired by you. Thank you. But it's a beautiful thing for somebody to say that to you. Like that's the highest compliment you could ever get. So why would I ever disparage that? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. I keep it to myself. I keep my opinions like that to myself um and I leave it at that, you know. I'm proud of the legacy we've created, and that's the bottom line.
Who's going to the World Series this year, Chris?
I don't follow baseball.
No?
Oh,
I
I just
used to.
my vocalist follows baseball, but he's an Atlanta Braves fan. But I just don't follow baseball. It's just I don't follow professional sports much anymore. Even though even in football, I'm a Raiders fan, but I don't even follow professional sports much anymore because I just don't want to deal with the bullshit that's involved with professional sports. You
Yeah.
know?
I watch a lot of UFC whenever I can.
Yeah, UFC is pretty wild.
It really is.
I don't know anything. Honestly, I don't know anything about it. Like I said, the only sports I watch is fast class drag racing, which nobody knows anything about except for me. So,
Haven't seen that in years, especially
well,
those long cars. They look like really skinny triangles.
mhm.
Yeah, with the big wheels in the back and the small wheels in the front.
Yeah, drag racing's my thing. So if I'm going to follow a sport, I guess that's the sport I follow. So, anyway, listen, it's 6:17. I got to get off because
Not a word.
I got a party about to explode at my house. So,
All right. You got any last words for Underground Noise Webzine, Chris?
yeah, man, thank you again, brother, for the time. I hope we can do it again. And, any fans that want to talk to us, we're very approachable. Reach out to us on the internet and, drop us an email, drop us a line, whatever. Go visit our website. That's internal-bleeding.com. And thanks, man. I appreciate the time.
Hey, Chris, it's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers, Master of Slam.
Thank you. Have a good night.